Hello, friends. I'm Heidi with Onigo Stamping, and welcome to my craft corner. I am really excited that you are here tonight because we're going to be making some cards with the Share a Milkshake stamp set. And I have some fun stuff to share with you. So, welcome to you. Welcome, Fonda. So glad you are here. If you are here and watching me live, go ahead and leave a comment and let me know where you're watching from. Let me know if you are getting ready to send some Valentine's Day cards this year. Always fun thing to know. So I also want to give a big shout out to my replay watchers. Thank you for joining me as well. And go ahead, leave me a comment and let me know that you watched the replay because that's always good to know too. So hello, Karen and Anna. Oh, welcome, welcome, guys. All right, I'm going to jump right into this tonight because there's a lot to it. I can never quite seem to keep things super simple. So I'm going to flip my camera around and we are going to get started. So let's see if I pick the right one tonight. There we go. All right. All right. So here is the Share a Milkshake stamp set. Now, I'm going to be perfectly honest. This was not my favorite stamp set when I first saw it in the mini catalog. But since I've gotten it and started using it, I love it. It is so cute. There are so many adorable cards out there using it. And I had so much fun playing with it. So hello, Kimberly. I love the kind of nostalgic feel of it, right? I mean, what is more romantic than that picture of, the boy and the girl sitting in the old-fashioned soda fountain with their two straws in the same milkshake, right? So that is what we got tonight. We're going to be making us a root beer float. All right. Now, I realized about half a minute before I came on tonight that I had not pre-cut the paper that I needed for tonight's card. Now, I could have rushed and done it, but I thought this is a great time for me just to kind of share with you how I create the layers for a card and how I cut them. So I've been asked that a lot, and people always wonder if I have like a list of layers, and I really don't. Maybe I should make one, but it's not something I use. So hello, Heather. So what you do need to know is that if you're in the US, now, of course, if you're in another country that is, more advanced than us and uses the metric system, it will be different. But if you're in the US, your card is going to be 8.5 by 5.5 when you cut it, right? So we're going to take a full sheet of cardstock. I put it in my paper trimmer at 5.5 inches, and I'm just going to go ahead and cut that. And this is going to create the card base. Then I'm going to flip it around and I'm going to line it up at 4.25, which is halfway of 8.5. And I'm just going to score that. And this just creates my general card base, which is pretty much what I use on every card that I make. So when you fold this in half, if you cut and scored it properly, your card front is going to be 5.5 by 4.25 inches. Right? 5.5 by 4.25 inches right there. What I do generally to make layers is I just subtract the same amount from both sides. So this is 5.5 by 4.25. I want my image layer. This is going to be a pretty simple card without, well, okay, it's not simple, but there's not a lot of layers to it. And I just want to have kind of I'm going to have one piece of white, and that's going to be layered. So to create the white layer, what I'm going to start with is I'm going to take a 1/2 inch off both those directions. So 5.5 by 4.25, take a 1/2 inch off both. And if you don't want to do the math, that's okay. What you can also do is you just stick your cardstock in here. It's at 5.5. All right, I'm going to take 1/2 inch off. So you just move it over a 1/2 inch, a 1/2 inch down to 5 inches. Okay, 5.5 to 5 is pretty easy, but 4.25, that to me, that's a little trickier. So we can start at 4.25, and I'm just going to move it down, a quarter and then another quarter to get that 1/2 inch. And I know it is 3.75. So hello, Lena and Mom and Heather and Sandra. So glad you guys are here. So this creates my white layer for the card. So this is 5 by 3.75. All right, I just took a 1/2 inch off of both of those sides. So it's going to be even on all 4 sides when I put that on there. All right. My next trick to doing layers, to making my layers, is I like to combine fat layers with skinny layers. I just think it looks better. So you could go in here and you could cut your next layer to be a quarter size bigger than the white. Okay, you could definitely do that. But I like to have a fat layer and a skinny layer. So this white is half a inch shorter, half an inch off on both directions. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to bump up 1/8 of an inch from the white. So if we remember when we cut that white, it was 5 inches by 3 3/4. So I'm going to go back to my 3 3/4. And then if you have the Stampin' Up paper trimmer, there are like little tiny marks. And then in between the tiny marks, there's like slightly longer marks. Those are the 1/8 inches. So if you're just counting them all as tiny marks, it's kind of moving it over too. So I'm just going to bump that up and it becomes 3 7/8. And then the other direction was 5. So we'll just bump that up 1/8 too. And that makes it 5 1/8. So our polished pink layer, if I can speak tonight, our polished pink layer is 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. And you'll see when we eventually put this all together, this makes a skinny layer under the white. And then you have the crumb cake underneath that is going to create a wider layer. And that's what I mean. I like to alternate how big the layers are. So, all right. So now I have my cardstock cut. That's all I needed to cut. I'm going to take my piece of basic white. So again, this was 5 inches by 3 3/4. And I have taken a Stampin' Spritzer. These little spritzers are great. They're in the catalog. They come like 3 for $3.25 or something. They're super cheap. So if you are ever needing to like bump up, like during celebration when you need to get to $50 or $100 and you're a couple dollars short, throw on a pack of Stampin' Spritzers because they are fantastic for various things. So I have filled this with rubbing alcohol. Okay, I started by filling this up with rubbing alcohol, and then I took my polished pink re-inker and I put some drops of polished pink re-inker in there. I don't know exactly how many, maybe 10 to 15, not a ton, right? And it turned kind of a pinky color, but it's not, it's not exactly the same color in there as my cardstock. But when we spray it, it's going to be. So what I want to do is I just want to get kind of some spritziness going down over here. Now, the reason people have asked me before, the reason that you put rubbing alcohol in here instead of water is the rubbing alcohol is going to dry a little bit faster. So that just makes you be able to work a little bit faster, and it doesn't soak into your paper as much, although this still might soak in just a little bit. All right, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to spray off first. Make sure I'm going the right direction. Oops. See, and I didn't quite get it exactly where I wanted it, but that's okay. All right, so we got kind of a pink burst over there. All right. You can't, control it so well. It kind of does what it wants. Oops. See, look at that. I messed that up. I got my fingers in the way and I totally messed up. We're going to cut another piece. We'll save that one for later. It's okay. All right, so this way was already 5, and we're going to cut this one 3 3/4 again. We're going to try it again. Always, never quite know. All right, here we go. Well, that was the wrong side. See, I didn't practice first. All right, here we go. Oh, that's pretty good. We're going to stop there. We're going to stop there. I'm going to stop there. Now you can see my cardstock buckling just a little bit. That's okay. It's going to dry and it's going to flatten out. I did this step first because we're going to set this aside and just let it dry for a few minutes. All right, while we do the other stuff. So I'm going to put my spritzer away. And let's do some stamping, shall we? So I'm going to start. Where did I put? I have a whole bunch of scraps. I just pulled out a bunch of scraps of white because we need to stamp a whole bunch of different things. I can't even talk tonight, y'all. All right, so I'm going to start with some polished pink. And I'm going to start with the big bold. So for both of the different cups, there's a big cup that's kind of like a big cup, and then there's like a little cup for a little cup of ice cream, and they both have 2 stamps that go with them. So I'm going to start with the bold one. I'm going to ink this up in polished pink. which is the same color I am spritzing in. And I'm actually going to stamp this off on my scrap paper first, on my grid paper. And then I'm going to stamp it on my cardstock because I just wanted it a little bit lighter. Then I can come in with the detail stamp. And we're going to stamp this on here. And this is going to line up like on the right side of my glass. Hopefully I got that right. It was a little bit low, but it's okay. We're going to just go with it. So there is our cup for our root beer float that we're doing. So we'll set those ones aside. And we're going to come in. Actually, let's stamp our little cherry first. All right, so I'm going to grab a little piece, and there's a little tiny cherry in here. I'm going to ink that up, and then I am taking my black Stampin' Write marker. Okay, this is the regular markers. I'm going to take the black Stampin' Write marker, and I'm going to color on the stem. It's my little cherry. A little puff. And there we go. We have our little cherry, and that just was so that I could get two colors. Oops, where are we? Here we are. I get two colors on my cherry. So there we go. There's that. And then, oops, I keep like forgetting the things I have to stamp. Let's stamp some straws, shall we? So here is one. And this is just going to kind of be a striped straw. A striped straw. That's hard to say. So there, we're going to make two straws because, of course, if you're sharing a milkshake, you have to have two straws. So set aside our petal pink, and I'm going to grab some crumb cake. We're going to do some stamping of the foaminess in the crumb cake. I like to think of this as a root beer float. I don't know, maybe, it could be a ice cream, but to me, it looks like a root beer float. So, all right, I'm going to ink up my stamp in the crumb cake. And again, just stamping that on white. We'll do it again. We need two of these. And let's grab another piece because there's another stamp too. So that's kind of the big foamy bit. Now this smaller one will also fit in the smaller little cup. But I like to use it as just kind of a fill-in in the background. I'm just going to cut that as well. So this is where we have a whole bunch of pieces in this because we're going to use the dies. Now you could definitely make a card without using the dies. And I'm going to share one of those with you tonight in just a few minutes. So, all right, where was I? I'm cutting things out, aren't I? Oh my goodness, so much cutting to do. Let's get die cutting. Let's look at the dies for this set because there's some cool dies in here. So in this set, not only are there these dies to cut out the shapes, there's also some extra hearts. There's these dies which are supposed to be like if you wanted to put chocolate sauce on top of your ice cream, those dies will work for that. There's also this die that embosses too and makes like a waffle cone. And I have a sample with that one, so I'll show you that. I'm going to start by using this waffly cut out one. And I have somewhere in the giant mess that is next to me, throw some stuff out of the way. Okay, what do I do with it? Got to find the right piece. Well, I pre-cut some little paper and the this stuff that I needed. And now it's like walked away. Oh my goodness. What's up with that? This just has me baffled. I don't know where it could have gone to. Over here. Shuffled in this paper. Oh, there it is. It got put with the wrong size papers that I realized I had cut. Silly me. All right. So I have a piece of crumb cake cardstock here. The gremlins are active tonight. That's very true. I can't talk. And then I have a piece of the adhesive sheet. So the adhesive sheets come in these big sheets like this. And I just cut off a sheet, a little piece of it that's about the same size as my crumb cake. And I'm going to peel just a little bit. And I'm going to line that up on the edge and just peel that off. And I'm going to flip it around and line that edge up. And I'm going to peel that off. So that gets us a nice sticky, a little bit long. I'm going to cut this off just so it doesn't get in the way. Make a sticky mess. All right. And this, I'm going to cut this waffly goodness out of this, because this is going to be really skinny and have little bits. So it's just really easier to have it cut out of the adhesive sheet. All right, so I have a number 1 plate. I'm using my mini tonight. I have a number 1 plate, and then we're going to put a number 2 plate on top of that. And then I have my piece of cardstock and the die. Let's go ahead and see if we can cut a little bit more on here at the same time. How about, oh yeah, we should be able to get that in. We'll cut the cherry and the straw as well. So here's the cherry, and then here is the straw. And I'm definitely going to use some washi tape on this tonight to hold it in place. So let's get these all lined up. Now, don't forget, I haven't talked about it in a while. I haven't talked about it in a while, y'all. But you can get a half-price mini machine when you join Stampin' Up this month. So not only do they have an amazing deal on the starter kit, you get to pick up to $775 worth of product for only $99, which I don't know that I've ever seen a deal that good. And then you can choose to spend another $30 and get a mini cut and emboss machine, which is basically like getting that half price. And you can get it in white or blue. You get choices. So they're calling it 3 choices. I really call it 1 choice plus the choice to add a bonus item. I don't know. They confused me with their 3 choices. I don't know why they didn't just say add a mini machine for half price. That's what I think about it. Yes. All right, we're going to put this in my mini machine. Have it all nice and lined up. Let's see if we can get it started. Now, the mini machine, I've said this before, it's a little bit more persnickety, mostly because I think because it is so lightweight that it just doesn't have like the doesn't stay put. It wants to move on you when you try to push. It's like, no, let's just move instead. So it still works great. It just is a little bit harder to get started, but I think it's worth it because it's so lightweight and portable that it is great for taking with you if you're going to go stamp someplace. Just put that on there in one place. All right. So what I did is I am lining up, if you guys can see that, I'm lining up the top plate a little bit out further than the bottom plate. And sometimes this can help you get it started. Come on. Trying to hold and push at the same time. All right, let's try it the other way. Maybe this is the night I'm going to be foiled by my mini machine, trying to tell you how awesome it is, and then it decides not to work on me. I'm going to spin this around. Try again this way. There we go. It can do it. Hello, Joan. Welcome. All right. What's that waffle piece? It doesn't like that waffle piece because it's so big. So here we go. Got our first couple pieces. Got the little cherry to put on top of our ice cream, on top of our root beer float. We got one of our straws. We got to cut the other straw. Look how this does. So it just stamped the stripes, but then you cut out the straw and you got the whole straw, right? It's got the white and the pink. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on the other one. We'll cut that one next. Now here is my little waffly piece. This is all going to come apart. We'll pull that apart in just a second. Let's go ahead and do the rest of our die cutting. All right, I'm going to set this aside. Grab my other pieces that I need. Start with these ones. We're going to have to do this little bits at a time. All right, so I'm going to line up that one, put some washi on there. Let's run this through. Put my top plate on. Here we go. You ordered this set the other day. Oh, I love it. I know a lot of people use the gray plate and don't have a, I don't know. I have not, I don't know, are they, because the dark gray is for embossing and then the light gray is for, what do I want to say? Is for embossing the 3D embossing folders. You guys, I cannot speak tonight, but you're right. The gray plate is just a tiny bit flatter, skinnier than the white plate. We can try it. Let's try it. I'm always up to trying things. All right, so we got those pieces. Time for the next pieces. We got straw. Pretty soon we're going to be able to build this. I probably should have pre-stamped these and cut them, but what fun is that? Then you couldn't see me struggle with the mini cut and emboss machine. All right, put this on. Here are these. Let's just do this one first. And wait till you see how cool this die comes out too. When we go to assemble this, there's some cool stuff going down with it. I'm just going to do that one and I'll cut out our big ice cream cup after this. Oops, that has moved on me. Let's not say we did, folks. That in just the right spot, hopefully. All right, put those on there. Let's see if this gray plate will work. It does start nicely. Let's see if it cuts all the way. All right. Go. Oh, that did. All right. So there's that one. We got one more of these and the cup. And then we'll be able to put this all together. So let's put this on here. Get that lined up right where we want it. And then here's our cute pink soda cup. We're going to put this on here. I'm going to grab my piece of washi. I'm always like, how many times can I use the same piece of washi before I have to replace it? All right. So get that all set up and let's run this through. Last time. There we go. Zoop, zoop, zoop. Thank y'all for hanging with me while I do all this cutting. Ange McKay from Canada suggested it. Well, good to know. It seems to be working pretty well. All right. So here we go. There's our soda cup and the rest of our foam for our root beer float. The A&W root beer float. I don't know. Do you guys prefer A&W or Barks root beer? It's always the question, isn't it? All right. Here is my background. You can bring this back in. Now I'm going to go ahead and pull out this piece, and all these little waffly pieces are going to come out too. I'll just give this a proof. I don't feel like getting out my little brush tip for tonight. should work just like this. And even if they don't come out, when you pull this off the backing, it will separate from all these little pieces. So I just want to get a look. Laying this on here. So this is going to kind of go on here like this. And then we're going to add some hearts. So I have this little tiny heart stamp, and we're going to start with, Karen, you said, yep. Does that mean you like A&W and box? I'm going to start with some polished pink. And I want to go in here, I think. And I think up here. And we're going to come in here, down like that. Let's see if that's enough. Maybe we'll come right up here too. There we go. All right. So we got some hearts on there. Laying it all down. And then I want to grab my Be My Valentine stamp, and we're going to stamp this up towards the top. It's going to come in here. There. Now we're on assembly. So I'm going to pull the backings off of this. Remember, we put that adhesive backing on there. So we'll pull that off. Those little things are coming out some more. I don't know what those are called. What are the divots in a waffle called? I don't know. All right. And this I'm going to pop in here. This is just going to kind of anchor our ice cream. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and adhere this to the piece of polished pink that we cut out before I start layering up the ice cream. Just putting some multi-purpose glue on there. You don't drink pop anymore, but you love A&W floats. Yep. You call them melted ice cream holders. Okay. All right. That the divots in the waffle cone are the melted ice cream holders. I like that. All right. So then we're gonna put our little cup on here. Oh, it's gonna be so cute. Isn't that gonna be cute? And it's gonna get some nice foaminess going down. I'm gonna start with this one over here, and I'm gonna go ahead. I'm actually going to put a little bit of adhesive and adhere this. That way you don't waste any. Good point. Just gonna put a little bit of adhesive on here. And this is gonna go over here because we want our root beer, like, we want that foam dripping off the edge, right? We're not being stingy here. Now, what you can do here, let me show you what's really cool. So when I cut that, it cut a little divot in there. And what is that divot for? It is for your straws. So you can pop the straws right in there. Isn't that so cute? Oh, I can't get over the cuteness. I'm going to stick my straws in there, and just like that. So totally fun. Get the two little straws in there. And then I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of adhesive on the back of this. And I just knocked my straws out of place, but that's okay because we'll squish them around before we get those where you want them. There we go. And then this one is going to kind of come over here. We're just building this up. And then remember how I cut that little one that goes in the cup? Doesn't that make you hungry for ice cream? This one I'm going to just add in to the back here just to kind of give it a little bit more height back there. Oops. I got adhesive on my desk. Sorry, I'm looking for something. We'll glue a little piece of cardstock on there before I get adhesive all over everything. All right, so this is going to go in the back here. Give it a little more height. Oh, you know what? In my sample, I actually glued this one flat. Ooh. We're going to take that off. I'm taking it off. Pretend I never did that. I'm going to grab some dimensionals. We're going to go ahead and put some dimensionals on here. Kind of forgot how I did it, but I really like how I did it, so I don't want to like change. That's what I decided. All right. Yes, I make mistakes all the time. Let me tell you. All right, so I'm cutting just a little bit off of the edge of my minis for my straws, because I want to make sure that those are supported. And get some support on those straws. I don't want them to break or fall off or get scrunched. They're like, you know, the most important part. They're the cuteness. All right. So I'm going to pull off the backs to my dimensionals. Now, I have more samples to share with you. And I have already posted a blog post for this over on my website. So after we're done with our video, you can pop over there and see more sample photos. And of course, the complete supply list is over there for you too. So, all right, so now I'm going to come in here. We're just going to add our little ice cream float right in there. Now I'm going to come in with this piece that I tried to glue where I didn't want it. I'm going to add a little bit of adhesive to the back of it now. Let's pull this down where you can see it better. Shall we? All right, so just added a little bit of adhesive to that. I don't want to set it down because the adhesive on the front is still a little tacky, but that's okay because it's going to get covered up once I put it in there. So there is that in the back. Okay. Now don't forget we have a cherry. We have to put the cherry on it. So I'm just going to grab a little dimensional, a little mini dimensional. Pull the back off that. And then this is going to go right kind of in this divot up here. So it looks like it's sitting in there. Right. So there, let me show you our ice cream. Isn't that fun? Oh, it's so cute. So let's finish this up. Let's put this on our card front. So here's our card front. And we can just add a little bit of adhesive on here. And then this goes right on that crumb cake to finish off the card. So there we go. What do you think? Are you liking that? Isn't that fun? You want to see the other samples that I have for you? Let's look at the other ones. Let me smush these extra stuff out of the way. Get lost. All right, so here is a sample using that little, the little cup of ice cream. And this one, I didn't use the dies. I just stamped it. It's just stamped, so it's a lot simpler. I use the new Flowers and More designer series paper. This is the Host designer series paper that is in the mini catalog. You can get it for the special price. I think it's $18. But you have to, once you get to a $150 order, you can order this for a special, very low price because there's actually 48 12 by 12 sheets in there. It is a huge double pack of paper, which is really fun. But I thought that was really cute. Now let me show you. I actually made this in 2 different colors, the same basic design in 2 different colors. You guys can tell me which one you like better. This one is pink, and this one is more Sweet Sorbet and Starry Sky. It's still the same paper, still the same paper pack. I just use different colors from the paper. So I don't know. Do you like the pink one better or the blue one better? I have a different, but they both say you're the cherry on top, which I think is really fun. So there's those 2. You guys can let me know which one's better. And then I have to show you this one. Now, I don't know how many of you You like the blue one? All right. I don't know how many of you have had Superman ice cream. But when I saw the ice cream, I was like, well, I got to try to make some Superman ice cream. So I'm in Michigan. Superman ice cream's a thing. Although I'll let you in on a secret. I don't think I've ever actually eaten Superman ice cream. The bright colors of it kind of freak me out. But I decided to try to make it. So here is my Superman ice cream. I thought this would be a great birthday card with that bright, festive, the bright, festive, what do I want to say? Ice cream. Oh, my camera tried to go away. I don't know what that was about. Oh, there we go. All right. Isn't that fun? Let me show you real quick before I go. I'm going to show you how I made that ice cream. Superman ice cream is just vanilla and bright colors. I had no idea. I thought it had like toxic flavor. Ah. All right. So I got some basic white here. I have my stamp here. Now I'm going to grab some crushed curry ink to start with. You like the same but for different people. All right. So I'm just going to color up part of this with a little bit of crushed curry. And then what I did is I came in with my Tahitian Tide and I inked up a different area with a little bit of Tahitian Tide. Okay. And then I grabbed some sweet sorbet and a sponge dauber. So grab my sweet sorbet and a sponge dauber, and I came in with my sweet sorbet and I added that in as like the other. You can add, a little bit more someplace else too. Kind of huffed on that and then stamped it. Ooh, that looks kind of square. So you got to kind of play with it, figure it out how you want it. So, but that's how I did the Superman ice cream to get it all different colored. So I hope y'all like those. I hope this was fun. I hope you like the stamp set. I want to thank you all for coming tonight. I'm so glad that you are here. I hope that you liked the Share a Milkshake stamp set just as much as I did. I thought it was really fun to play with. So, all right. I will be back next week, Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern again. And next week is going to be a fun fold week. So we're going to make a fun fold card next week, Tuesday. If you are joining me this weekend for the Stampin' Cross Country virtual retreat, don't forget it's this weekend. You should have already gotten an email earlier this week with the special Facebook group to go join where everything's going to be going down and happening. And I am so excited for this retreat. We have so much fun stuff planned, and it is going to be super fun. Also want to just take a last minute reminder that this is the last weekend. This weekend's last weekend to register for the February online card class if you want to get the card kit before the class. All right. So you have to register by Sunday night to be able to get the card kit before the class. And we are going to be using the Petal Park stamp set and punch this month. So that's coming up on February 28th. Registration ends this weekend. I hope you will all join me. So that's it for tonight, friends. Thank you again for stopping by tonight. And I'll see y'all next week. Have a fabulous, fabulous weekend. Bye-bye.